so much attention being paid to the hot mic picked up of Aaron Rodgers letting the Soldier Field fans know, or one particular is flipping him the double bird, know that he still owns them.
Yeah.
But the soundbite that I heard that I kind of picked up on was when he was asked about this potentially being his last game at Soldier Field. He said he didn't think so. He kind of said that, that it wasn't maybe his last game at Soldier Field, which caused me to say, like, do the Broncos play the NFC North next year?
Exactly.
Or could this
The
5-game win
Steelers?
streak, right? Yeah, the Steelers play the NFC North next year. I'm like, so my question is like, is this 5-game win streak showing what everybody thought, which is like, this is the best marriage, and the Packers should just ditch whatever beyond the steering wheel plan that they were hatching in the 2020 draft and planning to turn to at some point? Just screw it. Like, look.
Yeah.
I mean, are we there? Do you think we're there?
I mean,
you
know what, Rich? Like, it's funny you say that because I hadn't seen that particular soundbite, but I actually like sort of the correlation that, like, what kind of like came up what popped in my head when I saw the video the first time of him, kind of like shouting in the end zone. It was almost like, it's weird. It's like almost like a school pride there. You know what I mean? I don't know the right word to, like, I don't know the right term to describe it, but almost like kind of like this is a rival. This is a huge rivalry, and I own you. You know what I mean? Like, and it was more than just a player. To me, like, it kind of came off as more than just Aaron Rodgers saying, I always come in here and kick your ass. It's like, we own you. You know what I mean? Like, and it's sort of like, my read on it was like, and you could see the way his teammates were right there with him. And it just, I mean, if I'm a Packer fan, I'm looking at that and I like, wait a second, like, that does not look like the guy who was aloof and they couldn't find him, over the course of the off season, and he's off in Hawaii and, living the life of a celebrity. Like, that's a guy who looks like he's pretty engaged in like Packers business, right? And Packers business is that rivalry. So, I mean, I think there's no question. It's I think there's no question. Like, you have to feel good about that. And it was something like me and you talked about, I think, in July. Like, I mean, maybe there's part of him that's like looking at this and saying to himself, you know what, this isn't so bad. We've lost all these guys to injury, and we've still got good players out there. And I'm having another year that looks like it's going to be a career year. And, like, I don't know. I mean, maybe there's just that part of it where, like, he went through confronting exiting the place, and now he's back in the place, and it's maybe caused him to look around a little bit more intently and see that for all its flaws, maybe there are a lot of things that are right about the place. You know what I'm saying?
That's the way it looks like to me right now, Albert. They've won 5 in a row, and we could go,
He's playing great.
We could go back and forth as to which team is the best. I opened the show by saying Cowboys haters, the sooner they realize the Cowboys are fielding a Super Bowl contending team, the better. Obviously, the Bucs are your defending champs, and Brady's playing as well as he's ever played. The Rams kept pace with Arizona. That's your NFC right now. The Packers have a shot to win this thing just like anybody else. Certainly the Bills tonight. We could go on and on. But to me, it just shows, again, Cobb is playing well, and that was his maneuvering, his button push right there. And again, the exact quote was, I don't know if this is my last one. Referring to Soldier Field.
I hate to jump in there, Rich, but I think Matt LaFleur deserves credit.
Another one, too, because he's got to, it's not like the two of them are learning each other's system. Now, this is year 3 after 2 13-win seasons. Like, it's kind of set up for him. It's the way it kind of looks like.
This is like, it's funny, like, when I've talked to Matt in the past about this, like, we always laugh about, like, how, like, the question at first was, like, whether or not, like, the system was going to work for him, and, like, were they going to butt heads, and where was their relationship? And, I mean, as it turns out, the weird thing is like, that's the one relationship that was, like, holding this thing together, in the summer. Like, that was the one relationship that was really making this work. And I think Matt did a great job of navigating, his relationships, of course, with the people in the front office and the people who, the people who are signing his checks, with the, relationship he has. It's the most important relationship that he'll have in his job, which is his relationship with his quarterback. And so I think Matt's done an incredible job really kind of navigating that. And even like you bring up Randall Cobb, which I think is such an interesting key. It's like a lot of coaches might have like looked at that and said, well, like that guy's washed up and like I don't like this was forced on me. And no, I mean, like Matt, like, viewed it as like, okay, like this guy makes, you're comfortable throwing to this guy and let's see what he has left. And they've gotten a lot out of him. You know what I mean? Like, so like even something like that, like where it's like, I think some coaches, maybe their natural instinct would be to kind of push back on a player forcing an acquisition like that. Matt's all in on it. And Matt's, saying like, no, bring him on and we'll find a way to use him. And if he makes you more comfortable, then we'll get him out there. And so I think like part of that is like a lot of like what Aaron was looking for was like the quote unquote partnership. Right. And I think in subtle ways, maybe he's getting some of those things now in Green Bay. And again, I think that's a great credit to the job Matt LaFleur has done. I mean, to me, you always hear that term, like emotional intelligence. Like, I think Matt's shown a lot of that in his handling of the situation.
Yeah, the quote was, I don't think this is my last one, but I've enjoyed every single one of them, which is also my way of saying goodbye to you, Albert. And this is not your last one. I've enjoyed every single time you've been on the show. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it, Rich. And I always enjoy coming on.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.